is going to be kind of a weird video, I think. It's just, I've been seeing some people having some troubles with certain swims and like swimming in general. So, I just wanted to make kind of a hodgepodge video that goes over a bunch of things. I'll talk about like just general swimming things kind of at the end. But like off the bat, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the initial 80% swim from here to the submarine because you don't have a C chart for this one. This one swim at the beginning, assuming like you're not skipping sail or something. But I'm assuming you're not doing that if this video is aimed to you. Yeah, this is the one swim where you won't have a C chart, so it's kind of hard to get used to if you're not used to that. And like you're only familiar with no MSS, where you have it for every swim. But this is honestly a pretty good swim to get your ease yourself into it. It's not too crazy difficult. And then after that, I'll go over Windfall before saving because I've seen some people have trouble charging at the docks, and I can see it being kind of annoying. So I'll just do this swim, the next swim, and then I'll talk about general things as I go on, and at the end there's some things I want to touch on. So get storage, obviously, and there's two spots where you can start this, because you want a very slight refill at the beginning to make it a really easy swim. It's kind of hard to make it without it, unless you have like a really good ESS and control of your swim. So there's like that usual spot right there where you can get a refill. You can do that if you want, but I'm going to show a different one that usually people use because it's quicker to get to and it's a little easier in my opinion. I don't really like that other refill spot. But what most runners do is they they get storage and they come over here and they get right here, pull Wind Waker, and then walk into the water. And then charge for like a little bit. Like that much is fine. I don't really know how long that was, but you can kind of like time it yourself. You just want to get that quick little refill at the beginning, because it's really easy in that spot to get a refill, because that like the infinite air part, like where you're kind of like in like the in-between of the shore and the water, is like really big there for some reason. So it's really easy to just start charging perpendicular to it, get the refill without any real scare of splooshing before you start oscillating all crazy. And get that as long as I did, and then just buffer away from the island. And then you just want to charge till like about half of the meter. You can go a little before, a little bit after. I usually go like around the half. And then you want to position your camera to be on the right of the island. So the island is like on the left half of my screen, and my camera's facing the right side. And this kind of gives you a good angle, and then buffer to go away. And just hold the SS down. And you'll see Crescent and Gale on the right of you. Those are really good visual cues. And then you'll see the Fairy Island. You want to stay a little more right than the other two, or like you want to be like further away from this one than you were to the other two that you just passed. Like we were kind of close to those. This one you kind of want to go more to the right of the Fairy Island, because that's where the sub is. So it's right here. It's pretty easy to see if you keep that angle. And then ideally, I mean, you would aim to hit the sub over there, not the raft that was. But yeah, basically TLDR. You visually see these two islands to the right of you, Crescent and the Gale. You stay somewhat close to them, and then you start seeing the Fairy Island on your left, and you kind of want to stay more to the right of it, and kind of like stay further away from it, but not too far. And then you'll see Forsaken Woods back there, or Forsaken Woods, Forsaken Fortress. Eventually the submarine will come into view, and you can hit it. It's pretty easy once you start paying attention to those visual cues, and worst case, you can like stick a little closer to the Fairy Island if you're not gonna make it, or you want to like get a better visual cue, and then like aim more right this way. So that's this swim. Let me go to Windfall and do the other swim. And this is where I'll kind of talk about some of the general swim things I think are important to kind of know. And I'm not really gonna be able to explain them that well because I don't really fully understand it either. But charging at this dock, it's way easier than it seems. It could seem kind of hectic. You'll be like, I'm going all crazy, and you might grab that ledge, and it's really annoying, and it's stupid. But no, it's not that bad. So for this swim, you want double storage. I guess I'll get it just for the sake of it. So, one thing, I have double storage. One thing that's very important here, I think, is that understanding what, like, when you start having those weird oscillations, you start going towards a certain direction, as opposed to, like, just sticking in a certain area, like going back and forth. There's like sometimes, like let me show, like I'm oscillating here, right? And I start trending towards a certain direction. So let's see if it happens. Didn't really happen. I think I kind of just got stuck, but like I start trending towards. I went forward towards the island, and like I went further away from the dock in that case. Like I didn't stay in that area. Like I was oscillating there, but then I started trending towards a specific direction, and it kind of seems random, but it isn't. You can kind of manipulate it to be in your favor. It's kind of really hard to explain. It has to do with like I think. Okay, don't quote me on this, but it's something to do with like the swim animation for like you're in or something like where you are in it, and as well as like maybe the air you have. It's kind of weird, but you can consistently control that somewhat. Um, I feel like I can't really give a good technical explanation, but what you want to do, one thing that makes it like really easy to do, is that when you go into the water, you have this moment where Link's like coming out and you can't swim. So like when Link initially falls in the water, you can hold any direction, but like Link won't start charging or moving until he pops back up, and that gives you a consistent timing for like starting the charge, if that makes sense. If you always just hold straight up, you will always start charging at the same time once Link starts popping up. So what I recommend doing is going in the water and just holding up now. Like just start holding up. Okay, this is me from the future. That is false. Also, I think my air conditioner is being really loud right now, so lol, but I don't really feel like putting much effort to correct this. However, you do not want to hold up immediately or else you'll shoot off, kind of like when you charge under the water. What you want to do, let me turn this volume down real quick, and then I'm just going to play the video normally after I let it record. But you want to hold up not immediately once you start falling, because that is bad. You want to hold it like when you start popping up like that. Like once Link starts popping up, then you want to hold up, because in that moment, then you won't charge early and you won't move in any direction. Like in that little animation he's in, you're kind of just stuck in that animation unless you already have speed. It'll like maintain that speed during the animation. But like when you fall in, when you land like that, um, you can start holding up here, and then it'll consistently start at the same time, and then you'll get that thing that I'm talking about later, where you consistently tend to go toward a certain direction. But yeah, sorry I misspoke. It's just this is like so much of a muscle memory for me that I kind of just like said what I said, but it all made sense in my head, and I still did it correctly in this video, even though I said otherwise, because I autopiloted so hard. But just as a reminder, once Link starts popping up kind of like this, that's when you have that window to hold up, and then um, you won't start charging and shooting off, and you'll have a consistent time. Because if you hold up immediately, you'll charge, and then you'll do this pop up animation really quickly, and you'll shoot off in a direction. And that's really annoying. So yeah, I'm done, and hopefully that fixes that confusion. I will now play the video for the rest of the time and not say anything. And yeah, this is totally a well edited video. Goodbye. 9 times out of 10, you'll start trending towards like the wall right here. So let me kill my speed real quick. What I like to do is charge like right here, facing this way. Right here. And 9 times out of 10, when you hold up immediately, you'll go towards the wall like this. Like I started trending towards the wall, and then what I like to do is dip left a little bit, hit the refill, and then go back to the right and stick in this like parallel path next to the dock. And then if you want another refill before you leave, do the same thing. Dip to the left, dip to the right, and then you can just swim to Forest Haven. I mean, it's really easy to charge like that. I want to show what other people do. Where'd Island go? Where am I at? Hello. I would like to stop at your fine establishment. Okay, there you go. Another way to charge, it's like pretty much the same concept, but it's honestly easier. It's more like autopilot, because you don't have to like do the dipping left and right like I did to grab the refill, but that's just how I'm used to it. But if you're not as good as finely controlling your stabilization, like on your angle, this can be kind of more difficult. But what you can do is just swim perpendicular to the thing, and you'll just dip into the refill spot repeatedly over and over again. But again, if you're not holding like a perfect up left or up right, you may accidentally hit the shore here, or might accidentally grab this ledge right here. But you can also just hold a perfect up like this, and you might just grab refills on the way, and then head towards Forest Haven. Really easy visual cues for this, if you really want to, is that ferry island on the left, and eventually you'll just see it immediately. If you don't have sail for some reason, if you don't see that figure island to the left, I'd probably want to turn left, and if you see to the right, you turn right. It's pretty easy. But, I would like to stop some. So that's how you do those two swims. And I think I just want to talk about some general things to get used to. It's just swimming in general. I highly recommend just practice swimming. Like, don't have a destination, just charge somewhere, and just go places. I don't know, because like this is kind of hypocritical because I pause buffer a lot, but I see a lot of new people heavily pause buffer swims when it's not really necessary. Um, some things to keep in mind is that when you hold this angle, like you're going the same path every time. So if you know like the path you're going on, and you know where you're going, there's no reason to like to pause every single like time like this. Like you know the direction you're going, and then I'd say getting used to turning without pausing is very crucial and very important to get to because I feel like at least when I was starting and even till now to a certain degree is that when you pause um, when you pause a lot, it honestly makes you more disoriented than before. Sometimes if you pause, if you get like frantic and you start pausing a bunch of times, like where am I, and you get scared and you get confused and more like discombobulated. I don't know. It's like it makes it worse in the end. I feel like that might be true. So I'd say getting used to maneuvering and changing your angle and shifting your path without pausing makes it way easier in the long run. It makes it easier for you to maneuver. So just getting used to letting go of target and holding down right and down left just to turn without pausing is really helpful. Um, Also, one thing that helps is knowing how to maintain your angle by holding out and still going like left and right to just change your, not changing like the angle of your trajectory, but changing like the position of your trajectory, if that makes sense. Like I'm still going the same angle, I'm just shifting to the left and right. And being able to master both changing your angle and changing like and just moving without changing your angle goes a long way with like your maneuverability. It makes it way easier in the long run. So again, I just recommend, you know, charging for, I don't know, however long you want. Oh yes, I hate the refill spot. That's so cool, dude. And just hitting that real quick, and then I just want to refill, get the heck out of there, charge for a little bit, and just, you know, getting used to turning and moving around without changing your angle, without dropping ESS. Just moving around. I didn't have enough speed to like do much, but like that's what you really want to get used to. And it's really important to hold ESS. I feel like I'm kind of I'm rambling on at this point, but I just want to touch on that real quick. ESS is really important. You lose like 3 times as much speed if you hold like full down, or like, and put like it goes from like like a little bit under 1 unit of like speed per frame at like a good ESS, and it goes all the way down to like you lose 3 units of speed holding like full down or something like that, and it gets worse as like you go from like ESS to further down. So you lose more speed the worse ESS you hold. So you really want to get used to holding ESS. Just getting used to like shuffling like this is what ESS is. My controller's kind of bad, so some are harder to do than others. But like, if you can like, again, let's say if you know how to do Trog's barrier skip setup, that ESS left you do, it's the same distance from neutral, but just down, and that's like how like it really is not as far as you think it is sometimes. Like my biggest issue when I started was I was holding too far down and I thought that was ESS, but it really wasn't, and I was losing way more speed than I thought I was, and I was like, why am I so inconsistent at swimming? And it's because I wasn't holding ESS. And I guess one thing to practice it maybe slightly is you want like, as long as you don't shift it like that, it's still ESS, I think, somewhat. Maybe not like perfect ESS, but like I still holding ESS. Like I'm holding down right now. I don't have like a controller input display, but then there I started going down. So as long as you don't start going down like on the menu, you're holding a somewhat decent position for ESS, but even inside that range, there's better and worse ESSs you can hold. And it's, I think recommend just getting used to that. And you'll see way better consistency in your swims, and like you'll go farther and you'll get places quicker. So yeah, those are the things I will kind of recommend taking a look at, and then hopefully I correctly went over Dragon Roost and the Forest Haven swims, or I guess the Dragon Roost, the Submarine, and then Windfall, the Forest Haven appropriately. I didn't really have a plan for this one, so sorry if I kind of was just rambling. I kind of just made it real quick for people, so didn't really have much of a agenda for this one, or like a plan, a rough outline. I kind of just started talking, so that's it. Feel free to let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, cool. One more thing while Feature Me is still here. When I say down right, down left for turning, I think it might be important to distinctly say that I mean down right, down left ESS. I don't mean like literally holding down right, down left. You could do that, but you'd also, like I mentioned, lose a crap ton of speed. Yeah, this is something that popped in my head while I was redoing this, so don't do that. Hopefully that's everything that I missed. So yeah. This is a really cool way to edit the video. You're just recording over it and talking again because I'm just so technologically skilled. Okay, cool. Bye again from the future this time.